To set the mood, let's start by ditching this normal porch light and replacing it with something a little more sinister. Next, I wanted to spookify the window. I had seen condemned house boards in the stores, but I just wasn't impressed with the quality, so I decided to create my own with some foam board I picked up from the hardware store. The length of this board should suit the size of my window, so my first task was measuring out the planks evenly to make 6 boards. I scored the foam first to make it easier to get through. Then I used a box cutter along with my yardstick to assure a clean cut. It took several passes, but once I got through to a certain point, I was able to easily snap the pieces apart. Once the planks were divided, I started in on shaping each one. I began by taking off any harsh edges, softening the corners, and adding unique notches wherever I felt inspired. On each end, I made jagged cuts, making each one different from the next. On the front of the boards, I carved indentations and imperfections. Honestly, the messier, the better. And I used a rotary cutter to make a faux wood grain. If I were to do this project again, I would have made way more marks, so don't be afraid of going too far with this part of the process. Once I was done distressing my planks, it was time to dip into my black paint and give a good base coat to them. I made sure to fill in all the gaps. I used a basic acrylic paint which worked perfectly with the foam and dried fast. In retrospect, I should have painted the back of the boards black since it will be in a window and seeing the unfinished boards from the inside isn't great. But I was running low on black paint, so que sera sera. I didn't know how the 3M strips would perform on the foam, so I decided to put a bit of gaff tape in those areas, which should ensure a good adhesion. I knew our windows and frames were very dirty, and sticking anything to them with 3 layers of grime on it would be impossible. So I took this opportunity to give the windows and especially the frames a good cleaning and a wipe down with alcohol. My only challenge was fitting the tree under the alcove, so I went to work cutting off some of the bottom and some of the top, saving all the beautiful branches to use later. I ended up using zip ties to affix all the branches to the trunk and the trunk to the gate, which worked out perfectly. and temporarily turned my project into a plastic porcupine. But I have a plan to cover all of these, so I'm not worried. In my head, I wanted spooky lanterns lit up in orange, piercing through the night on the tree. So I found these Moroccan lanterns online. Both were described to be orange, but the stars ended up being more golden. I thought for a moment I might add some red translucent paper behind the glass to match the others, but after consideration, I actually like having the two tones. There are little doors that open up to put candles in, so they are perfect. I just happened to see this skull wind chime when I was out shopping, and I could not resist. It was perfect for the spooky tree. It also made me remember an old owl candle lantern I have had for years. Another ornament for the tree. To cover up the zip ties, I used a bag of Spanish moss. I draped it all over the eyesores and a few other places dangling for a creepy effect. A good old bedsheet and some gaff tape eyes made this classic ghosty come to life. I added a bit of sheer material over the top to soften the look and make him look more ethereal.